All right, hello everybody. This is Austin Greathouse with Cali, the marketing manager here. And welcome to our presentation on Twitter from a law school professional's perspective. We're going to have a guest today. Her name is Tonya Oaks Smith. And just a little bit about the webinars. We're produced by Cali. You can find us at www.cali.org. Every Friday at 3 p.m. we host a webinar on a narrow topic involving technology and legal education. It's a free service for all of our Cali member schools. And we'd love to have your feedback and suggestions on topics, or you can volunteer to host a webinar of your own. Just shoot me an email, and there's my email address. If you want to keep up with Cali Webinars, you can do so on our blog. We also have a Twitter feed and a Facebook page. All of those I keep announcements on. I keep those up on those pages so you can keep up with upcoming webinars. And we will be recording this and posting this online at calivideos.blip.tv, so you can forward that to anyone who had planned to attend but misses it. Again, that's calivideos.blip.tv, and you can find past webinars as well as this one. Upcoming webinars, next week we're going to go over the new Cali website, cali.org. I'll give you some tips and pointers on how to use that. And August 21st, again, another Twitter webinar, this one from a law professor's perspective. Professor John Ezor of Toro Law Center will be presenting that. Now, we encourage questions and comments during the webinar, and there are two ways you can do that. The first way is by raising your hand virtually. And if you see on your toolbar, there should be a button that allows you to raise your hand. So if you see that right now, could you go ahead and hit that? All right, most of you are finding it there. And so I'm going to lower your hands now. But when you do that, I'll call on you and unmute you so you can speak, because we have to keep everyone muted, or else there'll be too much feedback during the presentation. You can also use our chat or question function. Just shoot those to me, and then I can relay those questions to Tonya. And okay, we'll get to the presentation now. Tonya, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, I'm going to switch to your screen.
Okay, welcome in, everybody. I'd like to talk today about working with the bird, or Twitter from a law school communications professional's perspective. If you're tweeting today from this, I'd like to ask you to use the hashtag CaliTweet. That should help us keep up with what everybody's got and if everything's making sense. Let's go on. I'd like to talk today about why we tweet. Right now, since its inception in 2006, Twitter continues to grow in popularity as far as the use in social media and new communication. If y'all will read this slide with me, there has been a 1,300% year-over-year increase in unique visitors. That's unbelievable to me. It's the leading member communities category for the month of February 2009, according to Nielsen. More than that, it's the social media of choice for many young people. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that Facebook and MySpace do, and it offers unadulterated authenticity. Your message is distilled to 140 characters, so you really have to get it down basically like an elevator speech. My name, once again, is Tonya Oaks Smith. I'm Director of Communications for the UALR William H. Bowen School of Law in Little Rock, Arkansas. I have 11 years experience as a journalist, and I've worked in internal communication as well as public relations. I like to call myself a member of the sandwich generation because I remember when we didn't use email and not everybody had a computer, but I still think that diffusion of innovation, meaning new ideas and new information, using this new media is very, very exciting. Once again, I'd like to thank all y'all for being interested enough in social media and Twitter in specific to come in. You know, this is how we talk today. This is how the most important stakeholders that we have in law schools, our students, communicate the good and the bad about everything. We have students who will talk about positive things and negative things, and we would never know about it unless we followed the Twitter feed. Let's see, it allows us to establish stronger relationships with them. We create family for students, alumni, faculty, staff, and even donors using this free tool, basically. In this webinar, we're going to talk about how to open a Twitter account and utilize the basic Twitter functions. We'll also talk about how we advance our school's marketing and communication goals through the use of Twitter. I'd like to take the pulse of the group right now. So can you use your toolbar and raise your hand if you currently have a Twitter account? And Austin, can I see that?
I don't think you will be able to see it, but I can let you know how many people are raising their hand. Right now it looks like, I'd say a little over half are raising their hand right now.
Okay.
So
that's good.
A good amount of people are using Twitter,
but already have them.
A few people haven't. So.
Okay. Can you raise your hand a second time if you're using Twitter to communicate with key stakeholders? So, for instance, you have a business account and you're talking to students, faculty, staff, alumni, donors.
Not a lot, maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
A little bit more than that, maybe 10.
Okay. Okay, thanks, y'all, for helping me out with that information. That lets me know that I'll go kind of quickly through the basics of Twitter, and then we'll talk a little bit more about how we can use it to market and communicate with our key stakeholders. Okay. All right. Twitter 101, we're going to talk about real quick, how to set up an account. We're going to talk about how to communicate, how to get followers and increase your following. We'll talk about @replies and how to RT something or retweet something, and then how to direct message somebody or talk to somebody personally. Okay? Let's see. And I'm going to switch screens here. Okay. What y'all are seeing right now, and can you see it, Austin?
No, you need to make sure that your toolbar, on your toolbar, that it's showing not just the PowerPoint presentation. There you go.
See it now?
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Okay, this would be my Twitter feed right here. Okay, just as an experiment, I'm going to ask people to retweet something for me. And I'm putting our hashtag on it. Okay, but now I'm going to sign up, and we're going to set up a whole new Twitter account, okay? If you type in twitter.com and go to the home page, what you're seeing right now is the home page. You'll see a sign in up on the top right-hand corner of the screen. And you'll click on that. Wait. Sorry, guys. Okay, sign up now, right there, the blue. Okay, and I'm going to use my name. And my username, Cali Tonya. Okay, and I'll set up a password. Okay, and you can ask for email updates. But that email has already been taken. And are y'all seeing all this? You register with your name. You assign yourself a username. For instance, when I registered for our law school site, I used Bowen Law. You give yourself a password. You register for a unique email address, and then you type the verification right there. And that's how we create our account. Now I'm going to go back to my Twitter regular login. And log in as Marley's mom. And we'll talk about replies. Okay, if y'all see on the screen right now, Greg Henderson, J. Greg Henderson, it's the second entry right here, has retweeted my information. So right now, I'm going to thank him. So I hit the reply button. It's right over here to the right of his name. And you can see if you hover over it, it lets you know to reply. And I'm telling Greg thanks. Okay, so that's how we do @replies. Now, if I see something that's particularly interesting that I'd like to retweet, for instance, Austin here has retweeted my information, then what I can do is copy it, and then retweet it. Copy it and paste it in the body of the tweet. And we're obviously being busy right now on Twitter because we're having a little bit of difficulty with the time. Okay, moving on, we're going to talk about direct messages. And direct messages, whereas when you send an @message or retweet something and everybody can see it who looks at your feed, a direct message allows you to communicate one-on-one with somebody, to have a dialogue with someone. So let's see, if I'd like to send a direct message to someone, then I merely type D and the person's username and the message, and then that direct message has been sent, and you'll get information up there. There is also a direct message on the right-hand side where you can click and go into it, but I'm not going to go into it on my personal feed because I have direct messages from people that y'all don't want to see. Let's see, so we've talked about all those ways to use Twitter. Right now, what questions does anybody have? Any questions, Austin?
Ellen Suni, she's raising her hand. Ellen, do you have a question?
I do. Why would you retweet something if it already shows up on your feed as a message from somebody else?
Okay. It will show up in your feed, but if you have followers who do not follow that original person, for instance, you have circles of people that you're friends with. You know, you have people that you're friends with at work, and you have people who you're friends with at home, and you have people you're friends with at church, but those circles don't necessarily coincide, or if they cross, they don't cross very much. But say somebody sends a really interesting link and they're in one circle of friends, and you think that another circle of friends would be interested in it, then you retweet it, and anybody who follows you can now see it. Does that make sense?
I get it.
Okay. It's like, you know, I don't know if anybody's a Seinfeld fan, but I am a Seinfeld fan. You know, the episode where George talks about worlds colliding? Well, a retweet helps the worlds collide.
I think that's a good comparison.
Any other questions?
Thanks, Ellen. We have one. Philip Kraft has a question.
Okay.
Philip?
Yeah, when you initially tweeted and you said to respond to you, was I supposed to go to find you at Marley's mom and then reply to that, or how was I supposed to receive anything from you unless I...
You have to be a follower.
Of Marley's mom?
Of mine, yes.
Okay. So I did that after you sent it, I guess.
Okay. Okay. And, you know, if you followed me after that, then you should be able to refresh your home and refresh your homepage, and you should be able to see my tweets now.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. And once again, like I said, I didn't touch on finding followers or getting followers. What I do to find followers is I will search. You see the search box over here on the right-hand side? My cursor's in the middle of it right now. What I'll do is type in, say I'd like to know who all knows about Cali or who all is tweeting about Cali. So I'll do a search about Cali. And then it will give me any real-time results. And, of course, Cali picks up people talking about California as well. But if I find any of those people's tweets interesting, then I can go and follow them. You know, I click on their name, and I go in, and I look, and I say, oh, this person looks interesting, and I click on this follow button. And then I'll receive his tweets. That's one way to find followers. Another way to find followers is, or people to follow, is just going in and looking, you know, tweeting something interesting. For instance, I tweeted about how I liked shiny jewelry one time, and I had 3 jewelry stores start following me. Now, does that have any bearing on what I tweet? No, it doesn't. But that's the same premise that we can use to do that.
And if you're looking for, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to add, if you're looking for specific people, also there's that Find People.
That's right.
Link up there, right along the the top menu.
Right here.
Yep. And that does a pretty good job of, if you have a specific person you're looking for, if that person uses their real name, it should pop up there.
I can look for John DePippa is our law school dean. And there he is. And I know he has a Twitter account, so there he is. You know, so if you know somebody tweets, then that's an easy way to look for them, too. Excuse me.
And Joanne Epps, I'm going to unmute you.
Thank you very much. The first question I had about followers was just answered, but now I'm wondering if, for instance, I'm new to this and I put in John DePippa and I discover he's there and I start following him, that means I will see all of the tweets that he makes or gets or both.
You will see all the tweets that he makes.
Okay, and I presume there's a way to unfollow.
Exactly, yes.
Can you unfollow people that are like, suppose the jewelry stores were following you, can you cut them off? And now I'm done.
Yes, I can block them. Okay. There is, let's look at my followers, because I'm sure there's somebody in there that I need to block. Let's see. Not Cali, no, not Cali. Let's see. You know, because sometimes you'll get some weird followers, just some really weird, you know, like there is spam in email, there is coming to be spam in Twitter. So we've got, for instance, I don't know this TBPR person that you can see right here. So I can go under here and I can block that individual from being able to see my tweets. So I just click on here, and blocking will see you're getting the message. Yes, I don't want to see them. I don't want them to see me. They're gone. Okay. All right, so I'm going to move on now, and I would encourage you that if you have any more questions, what I would do is you can tweet them to me or you can direct message me. My Twitter account's going to be on the end. let's see. I'm going to ask y'all to chat a little bit and tell me how you see using Twitter. You know, we know that it's a communication tool, and we know that we can communicate with 140 characters. Can you share some ways that you think you might be able to use Twitter in your daily work? And can I see the chat, Austin?
I think you should be able to see the chat, yeah. As long as they send a message, and I think they should be able to send a message to everyone.
Okay. Yeah, if y'all can send, if you have any ideas, can you send a chat message to everybody?
William Burns
Are
actually.
you getting anything?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe they don't have access to the chat. They're sending it over the question though.
Okay.
Function. William Burns says that he could communicate his blog automatically to his students, alumni, and other followers.
Mm-hmm.
Donna Nixon says could update on new acquisitions. And I'm not sure. Okay. And David Brennan, actually, he has a question. I'm going to unmute him.
Okay.
Oh, no. Oh, he doesn't have his audio on. Actually, Eris Woodham has a question, too.
Okay.
So, Eris?
Yes, I was wondering, once you block someone, is there anything to stop them from re-following you?
There is nothing to stop them from refollowing you, no, unfortunately. And but the thing is, if you block someone, they don't get a message saying you blocked someone. Like if you unfollow someone, they don't get a message saying that you've unfollowed them. So it's kind of like breaking up with somebody, but them not knowing that you've broken up with them. So if they're not aware, then they can be blissfully oblivious, I guess. And that may be very passive, and it is a passive way to deal with it, but, you know, that's the way it functions right now.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a couple other suggestions here.
Okay.
Joanne says, I hope to notify students of institutional activities. Kristen Hull says, announce events and deadlines to students. Connecting with alumni. Library tweets about library hours, new acquisitions. So a lot of good suggestions there.
Those are excellent suggestions. And if y'all will look at your screen right now, I've got some of the best ways that we can think of to use Twitter now. For instance, sometimes you'll have students who, because they don't feel a voice in student services, they will just, there is an opportunity to just unload on Twitter. And so they will tweet about not getting financial aid, or they'll tweet about not getting the classes that they want. And so if you watch your feed, you can find out and try to avoid any negative backlash that happens if somebody is dissatisfied with your institution. We can build relationships with, like I said before, with students, with faculty, alumni. We can offer recognition to our faculty. A lot of the times that's hard, but this is a really quick, easy way to offer recognition for what our faculty members are doing right now. It's always good, if you work in communications, to know the good and the bad things that people say about you. That way you can spread the good and you can try to head off the bad. If we have events, we can create a back channel, and that's an instant feedback loop. For instance, a lot of the times if you're in, you know, an environment where you're listening to a presenter and you can't hear the individual, using Twitter can create a back channel where you can just tweet, I can't hear the presenter, can you ask them to move closer to the mic or talk louder? That kind of thing. It allows you to respond to both criticism and praise, and you can break news faster than any other sources with Twitter. I mean, it's instantaneous. It's out there. Let's see. Okay, I have, at the end of this, a little assignment. We're going to try to bring it full circle for everybody. For those of y'all who do not have a Twitter account, I'd like to ask you to establish your own Twitter account, either personal or school, or both. I think it's fun having both because it allows me to have two different groups of people, two different audiences that I can speak to. You know, I talked about the circle thing. Well, this allows me to kind of overlap my circles a little bit. I'll ask you to follow me, Marley's mom, and the UALR Bowen School of Law, which is Bowen Law. And then I'll ask you to think about, you know, take it home and think about one idea, one practical idea on how we can use Twitter for your law school. For instance, this week, my idea would be I have tweeted a series of receptions that we're having for our new students coming in. So if they're following us, they'll know exactly when the receptions are going to be held and where they're going to be held. We can also tweet the sponsorship for those receptions. So anybody who's following us on Twitter will know who our supporters are for the school. Okay, and if you do this, and I notice, you know, that you've added me and the Bowen Law School from now, I'll do a Follow Friday. And as you know, a Follow Friday can help you increase your readership there. You know, you could bring in new recruits. You could talk to new donors just through a Follow Friday. And I'm going to close it out by asking everybody, are there any more questions that anybody has?
There are some questions.
Okay.
Allison Morris, wants to know about hashtags.
Okay. Oh, setting up a hashtag?
Yeah, what is a hashtag? How do you use them?
Okay.
Just the basics
a hashtag is almost like a keyword. You know, in the library we have keyword searches, you know, for articles and things like that. It is a keyword that helps you search for things that relate to a particular topic. For instance, you see the hashtag right up there, the FF, that's the Follow Friday hashtag. And it's got a lot of popularity right now. If I see somebody who I think people should follow, then I'll use the FF hashtag on Friday and let everybody know about them. To set up a hashtag, you just decide that you want to use it. For instance, we have a hashtag set up for Bowen Law. So anytime I tweet about the Bowen School, I will use the # and the words Bowen Law together. It's as simple as that to set up a hashtag. There's no tricks. There's no anything. And what I would use a hashtag for is if you have an event and you want everybody's feeds to kind of come together and you know you can search for that easily, then that's what I would use a hashtag for. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think that's it. Because tweets are just so, you know, there's no labeling of them, just in the system itself. So the users kind of thought of their own way to label them, and it was using these hashtags. So, for instance, at our Cali conference, we had a hashtag for everyone who was tweeting about the conference. So it's just a way to distinguish tweets about certain subjects. That's how I would describe it. See, we have another question. Do you have to be signed in to Twitter in order to see tweets, or do the tweets come? How do you see the tweets, basically? Do you have to be signed in?
How do you see the tweets?
Right.
If I want to see all the tweets of all my followers, then I need to be signed in. If I just want to see my tweets, then I can go to twitter.com/Marley'sMom, and anybody can see everything that I've tweeted thus far, unless it's been a direct message.
Yeah, and that's because she has an open account. And a lot of people on Twitter, basically, it's a pretty open system, so a lot of people keep their account open, but there is an option to actually keep your tweets locked down so that only the people who you allow can see them.
Right.
So it's up to you. Most people keep their feed open, and I would suggest you do that.
Mm-hmm. But especially if it's a business feed.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no reason to lock it down.
Right. And the same thing applies for following if you have a business feed. For instance, there are people who follow both me and Bowen Law, and there are people that I do not follow with Marley's Mom that I do follow on Bowen Law. Because I believe that if you have a business or school account, an account where you are trying to encourage people to become stakeholders in your institution, then you should allow them into your family.
Absolutely.
So, in other words, you follow everybody who follows you.
Another question here is adding photos. Someone wants to know if you suggest adding a photo to your feed.
Adding a photo meaning your profile photo?
Yeah, I would assume.
Is that what you think it is?
I think so.
I do. I mean, y'all can see my, I'm switching screens right now. Okay, I'm switching screens, and y'all can see my photo in there. But if I were to go to the Bowen Law page and look, I have just picked something that's indicative of where we are. For instance, we're in Little Rock, the capital of Arkansas, so I picked a picture of the capital. You know, you can pick the logo for your school. That would be a good opportunity to spread that message that way. I would pick something like that, and I think probably because I've worked in newspapers, I don't mind people knowing what I look like. If you have an instance where you don't want somebody to be able to pick you out of a crowd, then I might use something that's representative of you. For instance, I have somebody who just really doesn't want people knowing what she looks like when she goes out in public, so she uses a picture of Brenda Starr. So
yeah.
I think that's a personal choice.
Yeah, and I would actually,
go ahead.
I would say to definitely put some photo up there. Don't leave it blank.
Right. No.
And it is probably better if you use a picture of yourself because it adds to the authenticity. It makes sure people who are following you know that it's you, and things of that nature. But like she said, if you are a private person and don't want to put it up there, that's fine. But preferably, I think you want to put your photo up there as long as you're comfortable with that. And
right.
you want to put, if it's a business, you want to put a logo or a picture of someone who represents that.
Okay.
Let's see, what else do we have here? Could you go over Follow Friday real quick?
Follow Friday?
Yes.
Okay.
What exactly is that?
Austin, can you tell me what you can see?
Yeah, I see
can
the
you
Twitter.
see my Twitter feed? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to search right now for Follow Friday. Okay. Or actually, you can see right here in my feed that there are people who are using Follow Friday right now. Okay, you can see the one that's highlighted, the Pete Wentz. He's Follow Friday. Okay, the Follow Friday is just like a, hey, this person is my friend, they're cool, follow them, or they have ideas that are like mine, follow them. You can see I searched for FF, which is the Follow Friday hashtag, and you've got all these people who are saying this person is a good follow, this person has interesting information. For instance, I'll follow people. Last week I followed 3 women who I think are really funny, and I said follow these people because they're really funny. I also said follow Bowen Law because I say follow Bowen Law every Friday. You know, does that answer that question?
Yeah, definitely.
You think?
Someone has a question about finding students.
Okay.
So finding your students who are using Twitter.
Okay. What I would do is, if you communicate with your students regularly by email, what I would do, because I don't necessarily think it would be a good practice for you to just automatically go and follow all your students, I would instead open the door to them and send out an email to them saying, this is my Twitter username. It's Marley's mom. If you'd like to follow me, I will be tweeting about important dates, important deadlines, events that we'll be having, inclement weather changes, things like that. And I would open the door up for them, giving them some kind of control over the amount of information that you're feeding to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I would echo those same thoughts, that you don't necessarily want to go out there and, I mean, you want to follow the people you think are interesting to start out with, but using student records or something to find those students, I think you let them come to you. Right. I think you let them come to you and you let them follow you and you follow them back. Right.
I think that that's a good practice. It's the same thing with Facebook. I wouldn't, if I were a professor, go out and chase down every student I knew who had a Facebook page. That might be kind of creepy. What I would do instead is let them know that you have a Facebook page, and if they'd like to add you, they can add you. You know, it's allowing them to have some control over the relationship.
Yep.
We're 10 minutes over, Austin.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. No, we've had a bunch of good questions, so I wanted to answer them.
Okay. Good.
No, I think that's about it. And if you do have any more questions, you can email me or Tonya.
Yes, absolutely. And what I will do to Austin is, Austin and I have talked about doing an extended tools kind of webinar, and if y'all would tweet me with any interest in that, I don't mind doing that, and we can talk about different applications that kind of aggregate your feeds together. Also putting pictures and video out there and accessing them through Twitter, that kind of thing. So if y'all want to either direct message me with questions or comments or anything about this, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, that's the thing about Twitter, is that it's pretty open source. So a lot of people have created extensions and applications that make using Twitter much easier than just this user interface that they have online. So there are a lot of neat tools you can use with Twitter, and we hope to get into that with another webinar. This is just scratching the surface. So, and again, we also have Twitter from a professor's standpoint coming up in a couple weeks. So I hope to see you all there then. And we do this thing every week. So look for other topics, for the Cali webinars. With that, Tonya, anything else to add?
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you for doing this. Thank you so much for taking time out of your vacation. Thanks everyone who attended, and we'll hopefully see you guys next week.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you.